Hello and welcome back. Hello, in this series we'll talk about learning Python 3 using Pygame. So here we're just getting started learning Pygame, or at least how to understand our understanding for at least creating game development projects. If you need to know more about this, I have books out there on this particular subject matter, as well as others out there for development. But anyway, this video series we'll talk about creating mini maps and other systems for our game development projects. In this active learning series, we'll talk about at least the incorporation of using tile maps for two-dimensional game development. Maybe if we have time as this series progresses. Well, as it progresses forward, we'll talk about doing things using OpenGL or other systems for using Python. But things that you'll want to know how to do if you're learning how to use Python or any Python. You can actually code games using Python, at least what they refer to as vanilla Python. But anyway, in this video series, we'll talk about how to do things such as animating the tile map. We'll talk about at least the idea of object entity-like behavior. We'll kind of transition into at least show you how to do things individually for developing classes for player state machines and other things that may result in your gameplay for your game. But anyway, other things you'll want to know how to do is how to update the player animations for giving certain type of physics or other object animation states using Python. It was just kind of concurrent for those people learning how to create mobile games or other games for sale or at least for projects. So it's also a fun thing to learn how to do when you can kind of incorporate some of the nice natural physics animations for games. But anyway, using Castlevania as a quick example, other things you can do once you can manipulate two-dimensional assets, you can actually create cutscenes and animations if you have time to kind of do that for your projects. Other things that are also available natively in Python, at least in Pygame itself, you can do things such as doing geometric transformations, such as scaling, rotation, flipping objects and sprites, which is also immensely useful because you can actually incorporate doing things using OpenGL as well as other systems out there, since this system natively was developed using the Simple Direct Media Layer. Other things that are available for you at your disposal with using Pygame is that you can manipulate image palettes. If you need to, we'll talk about compressing games. If you're not familiar with the Castlevania series, I'm showing you different images from different games that are coming from different consoles, which you can actually replicate. We'll show you how to get sprites if you want to make your own Castlevania, Metroidvania style games or other kind of projects. But remember that back in the older days, for game consoles, you need the games to be small and compact. They actually stream the data, so you have to manipulate color palettes to kind of make games small enough to fit on those cartridges. And so we'll talk about how to do that, at least to optimize the games later in this course series as well. Other things we'll kind of talk about, at least initially, is we'll kind of get you up and running making games. We'll talk about how to do things as far as modules concerned to get you drawing sprites and doing parallax backgrounds. That's when you have the perception that the background is moving when it's not, at least for when the car is moving, other things. And also we'll kind of, at least as this series progresses, we'll kind of talk to you about using Python to do some advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning aspects as well. So in this course series, you'll learn, hopefully learn and be comfortable enough with Python to explore learning how to do things. Anyway, quick examples and things that you will talk about as we progress through this series. Things you'll need to know how to do. First of all, things you'll have to install Pygame. We'll talk to you how to do that. We'll be using the Linux terminal. We'll hop between different operating systems to show you how to get things up and running fast. If you're not familiar with using Pygame, you just type pip install and whatever the name of the module you put after that. And so it's a pretty quick and simple, straightforward process, which takes maybe 10-15 seconds to do. People like me to do things because I do it really fast. And other things we'll have to talk about is optimizing storage for memory, creating sprite assets, which I'll allude to it, but we won't really go much into it. It was just something fast that we have to do. We'll talk about creating sound and music using tools or making our own pianos and synthesizers if we have time, and also talk about having HUD elements or those heads-up display elements that shows the life bar and the character sprite. So what are we actually doing? So what are we doing now? Well, whatever we try to do, because we're doing active learning, and hopefully you're just subscribed and learning, and tell your friends, and we will begin learning Python right now.